200 is presented by Moon Guide. Plan your best hunt.
So I was super excited going into this year. This is my 4th year for my home farm. I've been putting a lot of work and effort into trying to create, my dream property. Had some really good bucks made it last year, and the plan is to get my nephew on a big buck, and then basically got the rest of the season to focus on a deer for myself. I'm just freshening up a little mineral site here, but this is one of the main trails. I'm gonna get a camera in here, see if we can get some pictures. One deer in particular though that I'm really keeping my eye on and that I'm excited about hunting this year is Blade. Last year, this deer had all kinds of potential. He's got that wow factor when you see him at first. He's a wide deer, got great big brow tines. He's one of those deer that's just got that big body, just looks like a big aggressive animal. And like I said, he's got that wow factor when you see him at first. He's just a really, really impressive animal. So I'm really doing everything I can, like I said, to try to create the best property, to hold these deer. But I think my best chance to kill a particular buck here is gonna be early season. I've always got that clover available to the deer. I've established an alpha rack plot. We're putting oats in. We've got some winter peas I'm trying this year. We've got the Banks feeders going. I've also got, my corn and soybeans, but like I said, I want the biggest variety of food that I can get in here for early season so that no matter what shows up, I've got something that's gonna hold these deer in my area. I've got the stands ready. I've got the reveal cameras. This place is wired for sound with trail cameras. It's a small area. I don't want to burn it out. And I think I've got a really good opportunity to kill a couple of really nice bucks in here this year between me and my nephew. Late summer, one of my key strategies is long-range observation. I love to get set up 200, 300, 400 yards, get the Athlon spotting scope out, and whether I'm in, my truck or tree stand, I try to focus my summer scouting around those nights when the red moon's peaking. These bucks have been showing up on the reveal cameras. They're just absolutely pounding the imperial clover right now. September 19th, getting here within a couple weeks of season opening, and tonight's the first night of the red moon here at the end of September. And came back here because I finally got a north wind to jump in this Banks blind and watch this Whitetail Institute plot that I got back here tucked in behind my corn and soybeans. You can't see this spot unless you're back here in a stand or in this blind. And I've got 2 really good bucks on the farm this year that have been showing up on the Tacticams, and I know one of them's 5 years old. The other one's debatable if he's 4 or 5. I'm not sure if I'm going to shoot one of them, but definitely going to at least have my nephew Logan out here opening weekend, try to get an arrow in one of them. But a couple nice bucks. Hopefully we can get some footage of them tonight. Here comes a good buck. That's Slash. He's a nice 8 with split brows, 3-year-old buck. And just like I thought, they all come out like clockwork. I finally got an eyeball on all these deer, and I'm super excited to get Logan in here for the opener. Here at Raw Frozen Scents, it's all about providing you with fresh, pure, undiluted deer urine that's just plain effective. Raw scents are collected fresh, then immediately frozen and shipped from the farm directly to your door in an insulated container. The natural product that smells like real deer, increasing your odds for success.
And they're going nuts because that smell is in the air.
Raw Frozen Scents were 53.2 times more effective when tested against the competition. It doesn't get any better or fresher than raw frozen scents. You know, I've got this big primary scrape that I keep going year round on my property. You know, I'm constantly keeping it freshened up in the summer because I know that every deer that comes through here, every mature buck that comes through here is gonna check this scrape. And it's been a great way for me not only to take inventory of what I've got, but keep track of when these bucks show up on my farm. So it's the first week of October. We got a red moon coming up. You know, we've got a couple really good bucks showing up regularly in the food plots. Two impressive animals. I think they're both probably 4.5, maybe 5.5. But you know, that 150 to 160 range, which is going to be, would be one of the biggest deer, you know, Logan's ever shot. So I basically told Logan whichever buck shows up first, it's his choice. If he wants to try to kill Blade or Curly, whichever buck shows up in the plot, you know, it's up to him.
Shot Curly at like 15 yards. He's pretty close.
Well, we got a target buck with a black eagle through him. Logan put the smack down on Curly here tonight.
Let's go find him.
It's great when a plan comes together. You know, this is Logan's best buck ever. Same tree that he killed his deer out of the year before, but another great buck on the red moon. Very nice. It's your biggest buck, isn't it?
Yep.
Count him up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12 points.
Nice. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Not too bad for a opening week red moon.
Yep. Last day.
So I'm up to bat and I'm still kind of on the fence. I think I've decided that I want to shoot Blade. I mean, like I said, this deer's got that wow factor. He's a really impressive animal. I want to get a good look at him on the hoof in bow range before I actually make the decision. Another reason I'd have been contemplating whether or not to shoot Blade is I've been waiting to have an encounter with Hook. That's a great buck. The Hook buck. Coming in and checking the scrape. Just a great buck, but I think he's only a 4-year-old. 160-inch deer. Coming in and checking the scrape. Just a great buck, but I think he's only a 4-year-old. 160-inch deer. Beautiful buck. Another big mature animal, still kind of on the fence of whether he's 4.5 or 5.5, but he's a really, really solid, typical 10 point. I think he's probably in that 160 to 165 range.
That's the second time I've passed that buck up in the last week and a half on this trail.
Blade has been all over the reveal cameras and the food plots. The scrape that I've got going, I've been keeping doctored up with the raw frozen scents, and I mean, he's just camped out here, and he's such an impressive animal. I mean, he's got the biggest body. I don't know if he's the oldest deer on the farm, but he's definitely the biggest body. So this is really the first time I've had this buck in bow range this season. I mean, ton of trail camera pictures of this deer, and I've got some really good history with this buck. I think now that I've actually seen him, even though he's got a big body, I think he's only a 4.5-year-old deer.
Well, it's December 12th. Activity's been picking up. Passed up a couple really good deer on this farm. But it got really cold last night. Down in the 20s, and it's gonna stay that cold for a while here, so it's what I've been waiting on, to get some cold weather and get these deer on their feet early to feed.
So I've had, 3 or 4 great encounters with Blade, 3 encounters with Hook now, and I think of these 2 bucks, actually Hook has probably got the most potential for next year, to be a Boone and Crockett animal. I think he's, borderline 160, 165, so I mean, he's right there. This next year he could put 20, maybe 30 inches on.
Got a month of season left. And I'm sure we'll eventually get some cold weather, but man, I can't believe how warm December has been.
So it's late season. I've finally made up my mind. Blade is the buck that I'm gonna shoot. I think we've got the perfect situation here tonight after this nasty weather has blown through.
Well, it's January 6th here in Ohio, and opening day of our muzzleloader season. I plan on bow hunting, the rest of the muzzleloader season, but for tonight, we're packing the TC, so first deer just popped out.
All the deer are hitting the Imperial oats hard. They've completely wiped out the winter peas that I planted, but they're really coming in and hitting these oats hard. Like I said, Blade's been in here multiple nights, seen Slash, a couple of the other bucks I've been watching.
For nearly 3 decades, the Moon Guide has been the #1 tool for helping hunters predict daylight activity for big whitetails. If you're ready to experience results like this, download the Moon Guide app now that includes mapping, landowner data, and the deadly Red Moon calendar. Stack the deck in your favor and download the Moon Guide app today. Hunt smarter, not harder.
3 giant whitetails, including my 5th 200-inch deer, all last year on the Red Moon. Plan your best hunts with Moon Guide.
So I think I finally made up my mind. I'm gonna wait for a good encounter to get some great footage of Blade, and that's the deer I'm gonna focus on killing here late season. And to be able to do that, you've gotta put the time in scouting, learning everything you can about these big deer to find that right place, to find that weak spot in that animal's travel pattern. The right time can be a little trickier. When it comes to killing mature deer, timing is the key piece to the puzzle. When is he gonna move? When is my best chance to catch this mature deer moving during daylight and making a mistake?
January 19th. Yeah, we just got through 7 days of the coldest weather we've had all year. Been absolutely brutal. And every deer on the farm has just been hammering what we've got left of the beans and the corn, and our imperial oats are covered in a few inches of snow. Keeping my fingers crossed that we're gonna get a crack at this deer before season is over in a couple weeks, but we are running out of time.
This has been one of the best nights I've ever had in the last 4 years on my home farm. I mean, deer just pouring into the food plot, but it's just been an amazing evening, you know, with all these deer. Hardly ever see a mature buck, at least in Ohio, shed this early. Blade shows up and he's dropped both sides. Like I said, I could have killed this deer multiple times early season, finally make the decision to do it, and he's dropped both sides. And then to top it off, Hook shows up. And I've already made up my mind that I'm not going to kill this deer. He needs another season. And not only does he give me one opportunity, you know, at point blank range, circles back in the woods, comes back out, and walks right down in front of me again, just a final teaser to the season. But sticking to my guns, letting this deer walk, and can't wait to see what he turns into next year.
Well, I think I counted 38 deer. Every last one came right by me in bow range. This Osseo is just deadly late season.
It's gonna be the 4th season for my property. You know, I've got the food, you know, I don't have access to bedding areas, so the plan was to get my nephew Logan in. First week of October, Logan killing his biggest buck to date. Had a bunch of great encounters, just kind of going back and forth on, you know, what deer I thought I wanted to kill, what deer I thought needed to go another year. Didn't end up filling a tag, but I know that all the bucks that I was chasing made it, end up picking up the sheds after, you know, season wrapped up, and I'm even more excited about these opportunities coming up for next year.